Good morning and welcome to the Subcommittee on National Security, the Border and Foreign Affairs, hearing on examining global religious persecution. Today's hearing will address one of the most fundamental and pressing issues that transcends borders and boundaries: international religious freedom. It's an issue that speaks to the very core of our values as Americans and the basic principle of human rights. During my time in Congress, I've been deeply committed to this cause and believe the United States can take a leading role in championing religious freedom on the global stage. It's the right of every individual to worship, express, and practice their religion freely without fear. However, we must recognize that religious freedom is not universally recognized and respected in all parts of the world. In too many corners of the world, individuals and entire communities face stark reality of violence, displacement, and discrimination. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Last year, 90% of Christians killed globally because of their faith were Nigerian. Boko Haram, or sub-Saharan ISIS, continue to slaughter Christians that refuse to convert to Islam, creating chaos and fear. Yet the Biden administration removed Nigeria as a country of particular concern, a designation subjecting Nigeria to a greater congressional scrutiny. Why did the administration remove this designation? In Azerbaijan, ethnically Armenian Christians are being forced to flee their homes because they're facing genocide. And tragically, as we've witnessed over the last several weeks, terrorist groups like Hamas will use their extreme versions of religion to justify committing horrible atrocities against civilians of different ethnicities and faiths. Religious freedom is also fundamental to our national security interests. For example, our enemies not only suppress religious freedom, but often support terrorist proxy groups that target people based on their faith. The subcommittee recently held a hearing where witnesses described the Iranian regime's assistance to terrorist organizations such as Hamas and Hezbollah that have now invited more terror, conflict, and instability. For years, Iran has been supplying Hamas with funding, weapons, and support, all of which were leveraged for the recent slaughter of innocent Israeli citizens. Make no mistake, Iran holds an equal share of responsibility for all the deaths and kidnappings Hamas has inflicted on Israelis. Yet the Biden administration continues to give humanitarian assistance to Gaza without any plans or guarantees that taxpayer dollars won't go to terrorists such as Hamas. Similarly, the Biden administration continues to supply humanitarian aid to Afghanistan, which under Taliban control oppresses women and girls. Additionally, the Biden administration continues to send foreign assistance to countries suffering from religious persecution on the condition that the receiving country adheres to progressive policies. It's completely inappropriate for the administration to be pushing their policy preference on other nations. The United States has a long history of addressing and advocating human rights and religious freedom around the world. We have the tools and the influence to help those abroad who are subject to religious persecution. America itself is a very religious country. And it's important, while we do send missionaries for various faiths around the world, it's important that the United States not weigh in with kind of an anti-religious agenda. I hope to hear from our witnesses today that we use the power to help better the lives of religious minorities and promote religious freedom around the world, as well as not kind of impose or encourage the kind of anti-religious feeling a lot of American elites have. A world which encourages and promotes religious freedom is a more peaceful world. I want to thank our witnesses for being here, and I look forward to your testimony. I now recognize Ranking Member Garcia for the purpose of making an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.